Hello, hello, and welcome to Clear Vision Wednesday. I'm Claudia Mühlenweg. You can't see me right now. You will see me at the end. And today is a really interesting topic that a lot of people don't think about when it comes to astigmatism. And let me actually play my slideshow. We have a little bit of a slideshow in the beginning to go over. And once we've done that, I will guide you through a meditation. So let's look a little bit at astigmatism. And not just the postural aspects of this, but also the mental and emotional aspects. And if you haven't done that yet, I do have a full presentation on astigmatism that includes the physical level and the mental and emotional level. So go back to that and see on my YouTube channel. I'm Claudia Mühlenweg. I'm a natural vision improvement teacher and the creator of the Natural Clear Vision Method. And before we get into this, I do want to give a quick medical disclaimer. This information is not intended to replace traditional vision care or a regular checkup at your ophthalmologist's office, and it's not medical advice. Remember that I'm a vision educator like my colleagues, and that we're not medical doctors, and we're not ever diagnosing or prescribing you anything. And all of what I'm sharing is based on my own experience and my research here. So let's look a little bit at astigmatism. It's one of the most mysterious refractive errors, meaning it's related to how the light is bent. And you can basically think of the cornea of an astigmatic person to be more like, see that right drawing where it's a little bit more like an oval instead of a circle. So that creates a kind of a blurring effect on letters, a doubling, a tripling. Sometimes people say they have double vision when they don't really mean double vision, but astigmatism can be in one eye, in both eyes. And it's that, again, like this demonstration here. And basically, it looks, and so, by the way, most astigmatism is related to the cornea. There is also an astigmatism related to the lens, but that's pretty rare. So in most cases, we're talking about the cornea here. And you can think of a normal cornea like the sliver of a basketball. It's like, you know, it's like a evenly dome-shaped structure versus the astigmatic cornea. It looks more like it has a flatter curve and a steeper curve, like an American football. So what does that mean? It means that wherever you have that flatter curve, you will see certain lines, or you will see a blur at, you know, when you look at the letter earlier, maybe the blur is horizontally, that's called against, with the rule. If it's vertically, it's against the rule in optometry language. But basically, you know, when you look at a star like this, you will see that some lines are really black. That's where you have that steepest curve, and some are really blurry. And they're usually in a 90-degree correlation to each other. And when you look at your, when you go to the optometrist, this is a kind of has more angles here, but basically they will give you a so-called axis. And that's where you have that flatter curve, where you have that duplication or triplication, that kind of blurry vision in that exact axis. And you can see that in the prescription. I've circled it here in this prescription. So astigmatism always comes with two numbers. It comes with the strength of the strength of the astigmatism in the cylinder, and that's measured in diopters, just like the sphere. And then the axis, which is what we just talked about, that angle of that flattest curve. So here in this example, it's 180 and 10, and that is basically a horizontal with a rule astigmatism, so that the blurriest part of your vision, like when they look at letters, they would be horizontally doubled, not vertically stacked on each other with a shadow. So I hope that makes sense. And this is a picture, again, of an astigmatic eye. In this drawing, they made it more like cone-shaped versus dome-shaped on the right side. But basically, when you have a simple refractive error, like nearsightedness or farsightedness, the focal point falls either in front of the retina if you are nearsighted, or it falls behind the retina if you're farsighted. And with astigmatism, you have, you know, maybe two, maybe three, maybe depending on the cornea and the exact astigmatism, you have several focal points. And like in this picture, one can be behind the retina and one can be in front, meaning you can be nearsighted with an astigmatism that's farsighted and vice versa. Or the astigmatism could mean that both or more, if you have 3 or 4 focal points, could also mean that they're all nearsighted or all farsighted. And this is, you can see that in your prescription. With the, if I go back here, the minus is always nearsighted in the cylinder and the plus is always farsighted. So even if you're nearsighted, like this person here in the sphere with -9, they might have a +4 cylinder. They might have a far-sighted astigmatism. So, but we're not going to get onto all of that today. I just want to give a quick overview over what astigmatism means. And again, the postural aspect you can find in a different video I did in the past. So causes of astigmatism, right? It could be corneal diseases, it could be injuries, it could be keratoconus, it could be extremely dry eyes. It could also be that, and this is one of the most common causes, is that one of the 6 or one or more of the 6 outer eye muscles, the extraocular muscles, have excessive tension, which, you know, creates an uneven shape in your eyeball, and that reflects in the cornea, because when you squeeze your eyeball, the cornea is part of your eyeball, and so that will affecting the shape of the cornea. It could also be excessive eyelid tension. So if you have if your eyelids are like, if you're really hard at pressing, you know, pressing them down or in, that could deform your cornea and create astigmatism. And then this is not part of this presentation, but this is a huge piece. About 85% of all astigmatism cases can be traced back to head posture and eye movements. And I can often tell you if you're right or left-handed or what you're doing with your head when I just look at your prescription. So there is a correlation to that aspect of how you're holding your head, how you're moving your head, how you're moving your eyes. And then this is what we're really going to dive into more today, is the mental aspect. Could be something like ADD, like, and I'm not saying that as a clinical diagnosis, but more of that kind of distractedness, always jumping around from task to task, multitasking, never focusing on one thing at a time, literally having your focus on 3-4 different things at the time, which will obviously not give you clear vision or clear focus in your mind either. And emotionally, it's also connected to an uncertainty of what your wants and your feelings are. And so Louise Hay said, astigmatism means eye trouble, fear of really seeing the self. And this also goes back to the work of researcher Martin Brofman. And he defined, he got really deep into this personality aspect, and he defined connections between certain personality types and vision conditions. And people with astigmatism experience that idea, that uncertainty. They're not sure what they want. They're not sure what they feel. And this is also depending if both eyes are affected or just the left or the right eye. And according to Martin Brofman, the right eye represents the will, seeing clearly what one wants. And the left eye is more connected to seeing clearly what you feel, right? More the feeling side. And if you are a left dominant person, left eye dominant, and then it's the other way around, the left eye would be the will eye and the right eye would be the feeling eye. So that reverses. And Martin Brofman says that an astigmatic person who wants or feels their own truth, but for some reason considers it inappropriate, and then forces herself or himself into different beliefs. And this often stems from childhood, when our behaviors were invalidated, and we decided that to want and feel just like others, just like we just kind of figured like we want to fit in. That totally applied to me. You wanted to fit in, so you didn't actually, you know, you kind of lost that sense of true self quickly, and you kind of became an actor in your own life. Basically, you just pretend the whole time that your real feelings are what you feel the others like, or how you can please others around you, and especially with parents, right? When we were in childhood. So you're kind of losing sight of your own true wants, needs, and desires. And this is often expressed, and I can totally, you know, say that was me saying the word should. I should do this, I should do that, I should do more of that, or I should do less of this. And in my case, my astigmatism was mostly in the right eye, and it was definitely like not being clear what I want. I always felt like I couldn't make decisions. And this results in confusion, and that shows up as like not being able to make decisions or constantly asking others what they would do. And I, to this point, sometimes do that. And then I recognize this, oh, this is my astigmatism still kind of showing up, even though it's not showing up in my vision much anymore. And on the emotional level, so what you can do is ask yourself, what do I really want? What do I really feel right now? What's true for me? If I stop wanting to be someone else, who would I be? If I stop living to other people's standards and expectations, who would I be? And if I would stop being an actor in my own life, what would I do differently? And this is where journaling and kind of, you know, doing those, you know, emotional connections. It's not just it's not about eye exercise in this case. It's really connecting to what you want and what you feel. And, you might also feel that you wouldn't be accepted in your own current environment. Maybe your family, is just keeps telling you whenever you feel like you are in your truth that you're not loved or accepted, or they put conditions on you, or maybe you have friends that consistently, argue against what you really want or feel. And that may be a time to break up with some family members or find new friends, to really find the community that supports and accepts you exactly like you are. So mental aspects of astigmatism can also show up as, again, this was totally me, jumping from task to task without finishing any of them, not able to concentrate. Or maybe you have racing thoughts, which obviously could also be anxiety and panic disorder, but there's also a connection to astigmatism. You don't finish your sentences, right? You speak a sentence halfway through and then you switch to something else, or you're feeling overwhelmed, and anxiety for sure. And also this not living in the now, always thinking about the future or the past and never really being fully present. So we will begin our palming meditation now, and this will also be turned into an audio track for members in my Clear Vision Club. So let's start our astigmatism releasing palming meditation. Begin by closing your eyes and getting into a comfortable position. If you like to palm your eyes, you can rub your hands together and then get them a little bit of heat, and then cup your hands and cover your closed eyes with your cupped hands in such a way that your fingers cross over your forehead and that everything is black in your inner visual field. And if you do decide to palm, make sure that your elbows are supported and that you are either seated or laying down or in a really comfortable position with no distractions. Now begin by taking a deep breath in through the nose and exhale it out through your mouth. Do that 2 more times. Deep breath in through the nose and open your mouth and maybe sigh it out. So that 1 more time. Deep breath in and open your mouth and release it. If you are seated, feel your feet on the ground. Both feet are on the ground. Your body is supported by the ground, by the chair or the sofa or bed that you're lying on. So you can relax completely without any effort at all. Now feel that warmth of your hands on your eyelids. And notice how the eyelids slowly, slowly relax. And underneath your eyelids, the cornea, allow the eyelids to become so light that the cornea just feels like it can just relax into its ideal and perfect dome shape. And all the outer eye muscles, they all relax one by one. Your whole eyeball is relaxed. Your eyebrows are relaxing. The spot between the eyebrows, your forehead, your temples, your ears, the side of the neck, the back of the neck, your shoulders, your right arm, your right palm, your right fingers, your left arm, your left palm, your left fingers. Everything relaxes. The warmth of the hands filters through to the eyelids, to the cornea, to your eyeball, all the muscles in your eyeball, in your face, in your neck. It's a continuous cycle and circle of relaxation. Now I invite you on a little imaginary hike through a beautiful nature, a forest. And you are with a group of loved ones or friends. And you're hiking on this beautiful trail. The sun is peeking through the trees. Everything smells so fresh, and you just enjoy being on this trail as you're walking with your friends. There's some clouds in the sky. The sky is blue, sun is shining. And you might go through a shady spot and then you come to a sunny spot. And after a few minutes, you come to an intersection. So there is 3 ways to go. You can continue straight, you can continue on the left, or you can choose the trail on the right. There's no signs. You don't know where each path is going. You have no idea. And now you might be tempted to ask everybody else what they want to do, but don't do that. Just close your eyes and feel which trail draws you in. Which is the trail that you want to go on? And just trust that that's the exact right trail for you to go on. Your friends notice how clear you are in your choice, and they decide to follow you. They trust you. So you ignore the other path. Your mind doesn't go to where would that lead. You don't know. You just realize how beautiful the trail is that you're on. You notice the flowers blooming on a meadow on the side. You notice the trees on the other side. You hear the sounds around you. Some sounds are closer and some are further away. What sounds are you hearing right now? Maybe there's sounds of birds. Maybe there's sounds of the wind in the trees. Maybe you hear some cracking of the gravel underneath you. Maybe you're here talking. Maybe you hear some animals. And as you're walking, look down at your feet and notice how it seems that the path underneath you is moving, as it's kind of like strange, as if the path is pulled backwards underneath your feet, like as if you were on a treadmill. And then look up to the side and notice how all the trees seem to be moving backwards as you're walking forward. Everything is moving, and it feels so calming and relaxing. And then suddenly something catches your attention. You see a couple of red spots there, a little bit off to the path. In that kind of underneath the trees, there's moss. It's kind of moist. It had rained a lot recently. And you realize, as you relax, you realize it's mushrooms. And you step closer. And it's these red mushrooms with the white dots, and they're poisonous, so you have no intention of touching them. And you notice that all the dots have kind of a shadow around them. It's kind of irritating you a little bit. And then you decide to ignore those shadows and just focus on the white dots and how bright white they are. And you just, as you ignore the shadow dots, you realize how white and crisp these dots are on each mushroom. Just amazing, as if the shadows are suddenly gone and you just see white dots really clearly. And then you obviously don't pick them. You continue on your walk and you're enjoying every moment of it. You notice the pine cones on the trees. You notice birds in the sky. You see other people, other hikers coming in the distance. You see how they're walking toward you, and everything just feels so good. And now a bird really catches your attention. It's a beautiful bird with all kinds of different colors. And again, initially you might see a shadow, as if it's like two birds. And then you remind yourself, it's just one bird. And as you relax into letting go of that shadow bird, you blink and breathe, it suddenly looks super clear and sharp. And there is only one. And you might know what kind of bird it is, and you point it out to your friends. So now you're like an hour or so into the hike, and it gets a little bit more steep, a little bit more strenuous. And your friends are just starting to complain about the temperature and that their feet hurt. And they really don't feel like that trail is getting more challenging. And they like, let's go back. This has been amazing. Let's go back. But you really don't want to go back. This is the most beautiful trail you've ever been on. And you did prepare. You packed yourself a nice lunch and you have plenty of water. You have a trail map and you're wearing your favorite hiking shoes. And you know that there's a beautiful waterfall at the end of this trail. It's going to be another couple of miles, but you've researched this. And you're like, it rained so much. This is going to be amazing. And you don't want to go back. And so against all your usual decisions to follow your friends, you say, you know what? I'm going to continue. I feel safe. I'm prepared. You guys go back. Let's decide when we want to meet up. And you're glad that you brought two cars. So you continue on your own. Your friends are turning around. And then you begin to hear that sound of water, like your river. And you get really excited because it's not going to be that much further. So now you have to cross the river. The trail gets a little bit more challenging and you trust yourself. You are fully prepared. There's also other hikers on this trail. You are safe. It's a little adventure. You don't know how many more times you have to cross that river, and your boots got a little bit wet, but it's okay. It's all good. This is exciting. And then you suddenly notice some sound on the left side, and you see that there's a squirrel. And that squirrel has found a bunch of acorns under an oak tree. And you're noticing how it's trying to carry a whole bunch of acorns to like you're assuming a little secluded place where it can eat them in peace without danger. The acorns keep dropping. Like he always ends up with nothing because they all keep dropping. And then you realize, I am that squirrel. I'm that one. I always try to carry all these things. I try to do all these things at the same time. And I end up dropping everything and not completing anything. So you say to the squirrel, hey, squirrel, just take one at a time. Take one at a time and eat it. And when you're done, trust that the other acorns will all still be there. So focus on one acorn. And that there's all these others. And you don't have to try to do them all at once, carry them all at once. You're like, this is funny. I just learned a lesson. Thank you, squirrel, for teaching me a little lesson here. So you continue to walk and the sound of water gets louder and louder. You're getting so excited and you finally turn this corner and you see the most beautiful waterfall crashing down onto the rocks below. You look up and you see the top of that waterfall, how it's streaming down the mountain. And then you see an eagle flying high in the sky, looking for prey. And you realize that eagle is totally clear. There's no shadow. It's just one eagle, it's super sharp, and you can see all the details. You feel so calm and relaxed, looking all around you, noticing all the flowers, the rocks, the water, other hikers. You take a deep breath and you cannot believe how easy it was to trust yourself and really do what you wanted to do and feel your feelings and doing exactly what you wanted to do, even though your friends didn't want to do the same. You felt so good about standing up for yourself and finally believing in your feelings and really knowing, tuning into what you really want. So you find a nice little cozy spot, a nice rock in the sun, and you open your backpack and you sit down on that rock and eat your lunch. What a perfect day. So now slowly let go of that imagination. If you are palming your eyes, keep your eyes closed and slowly, slowly remove your hands from your face and just wait, give yourself time, maybe a minute or so. Enjoy the light coming in through the eyelids. There's no rush to open your eyes. Just enjoy this beautiful light coming into your eyes. And then when you are ready, and only when you are ready, blink your eyes open, 5 quick butterfly blinks and 5 gentle squeezes of your eyes. And welcome back to the world. And here we are. So I hope this was relaxing for you and gave you a little bit of a understanding. And I'm going to look on YouTube to see if there's any questions for anybody watching live. Let's see. That's so interesting. I have astigmatism in the right eye, says Danny. Probably also on the right side, but not as bad. On the probably means on the left eye. Yeah, resonates so much with that. Yeah, so I don't see any questions on YouTube, but I'm happy to answer any questions. And otherwise, we will close this on YouTube, and we will continue our little Q&A here in the Clear Vision Club. And if you're interested in the Clear Vision Club, it's my membership community. I do not recommend the Clear Vision Club if you're brand new to vision improvement. If you've never done anything, I usually recommend it after students have either done my 21 days Better Eyesight Experience or my Natural Clear Vision program, because it's a really great way to hold yourself accountable, to be in a like-minded community, and to really continue your journey to clarity. And so that's what I recommend. But if you've already done some vision improvement and you're not brand new to this, then the Clear Vision Club could also be a great option for you. We meet on Zoom every Wednesday for this Clear Vision Wednesday. And once we stop the YouTube live streaming, there's also a Q&A. And when we have a guest speaker, we will have extra time with the guest speaker. That's not live streamed, it's a personal space. And if you're brand new to this and you just want to tune in, I have a free download. Everything is listed underneath this video that you can download. And yeah, I appreciate any comments. I always go back and I try to respond to all the comments on YouTube. And sometimes some videos have so many, but I do my best to respond to every comment. Make sure to follow me here on YouTube and to subscribe to my channel and click the bell icon so that you get notified when I go live. In case you miss my email or my announcement and you don't have the exact URL, as long as you subscribe and you click the bell icon and you say always, and you show up here on Wednesday at noon Pacific, 3 p.m. Eastern, then you will see my YouTube live. So welcome. Let me see if there's a question. Mass is asking, if you have 180 and 170 axis, does this mean yes, so both eyes, it depends on your prescription. If most of the time people have astigmatism in both eyes, but it might be a lot more pronounced in one eye, and this is where the postural aspect comes in. I will link my previous astigmatism video to this one. That goes a lot more into the whole posture aspect and what that means with your postural habits. If you have, but basically 180 and 170 is like the horizontal plane. So you're probably doing a lot of eye movements horizontally without moving your head. So, but this is not what we're getting into today. But if you have any questions or any comments later on, again, I'm going to come back to this YouTube and I'm going to look. And since I don't see, Janice says, amazing meditation, eyes feel wonderful. Great. I love to hear that. And if you're at my Clear Vision Club, we will cut this out. We will improve the audio quality and then give you just a simple, just the meditation part so that you can use that again and again as a guided meditation. So awesome. All right. Thank you so much, YouTube. I see you next week. Thank you so much.